sharing video. Understand that a lot of MAGA Trump related content can be censored or banned for a couple of days. So we try to get it for you folks who are watching the repeats on YouTube. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Today we're going to talk about what might be construed as a rather controversial topic. Perhaps some may view the material as challenging. Nevertheless, there should be a host of you that have an opinion on the subject, and that is what we're here for today, controversial or not. We're asking, what is, or better yet, what was the goal of MAGA on January 6th? What exactly were they trying to accomplish? Now, we're asking this from a host of issues because most folks who support Trump, most folks who identify as MAGA would tell you right off the bat, it was certainly not an insurrection. They were not trying to overthrow the government. They certainly did not want to take the life of the Vice President Mike Pence. And just out of curiosity, because I was just in a debate with someone who suggested what happened to Air Force veteran Ashley Babbitt was an injustice. I have to ask that question in regards to Ashley Babbitt as well, the late Ashley Babbitt. What was she attempting to accomplish there that day? Now, if you've seen any of the videos or the story of Ashley Babbitt, you're probably aware that she was looking down a barrel of a pistol being held by an African-American Capitol policeman, telling her to stand down, and she was climbing through a window, continued to proceed forward, and he fired a shot, taking the life of Ashley Babbitt. Now, whether you feel that that was justified or you feel that that was a gross injustice, we have to ask the question, what was Ashley Babbitt attempting to accomplish at that moment before she was struck down and killed? So the whole purpose of the show we're asking today is, what was the goal of MAGA on January 6th? What exactly were they attempting to accomplish? As always, the program is and shall forever remain MAGA friendly. Indeed, we do not block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary, so understand when you come in the box or if you have an opinion in the comment section, no one is going to censor or limit you in any way simply because you and I may have a disagreement. I am a strong proponent of the First Amendment. So we're looking in the comments. So stand your ground only comes into play when it suits those who use the talking point. JJ24, perhaps, but that's what we're asking. So what was her goal? What was the goal? What was MAGA attempting to accomplish on January 6th? Well, I'm asking this not only because people believe that Ashley Babbitt was wrongfully, for the most part, executed by police, but also because folks suggest that on that day, it was not an insurrection. It was not an attempt to overthrow the government. The vice president's life was not in danger. So what was the goal? What were they trying to accomplish? That's what we're asking, because I don't quite get it. I'm going to plead ignorance to the folks. I want to hear it from you folks, particularly my beloved MAGA. Do you see something perhaps yours truly, or maybe the liberals in general, are just simply missing? Educate us all. Looking in the comments, Ashley ignored the warning and paid the price. But was the price justified? Yes, it is clear by the video that Ashley Babbitt did not listen to authorities and she continued to proceed forward, leading to her own loss of life. But was her life taken in a manner that was justified? Not according to the police. We know how they have already ruled in favor of the officer. But what about you folks watching? Do you believe that what happened to her that day was a gross miscarriage of justice? Or do you believe it was indeed a justifiable shoot? Trump and Republicans want to strip the Constitution and government to put himself in as a dictator, says Vibes. Wow. So you think that Trump is pursuing a dictatorship role? Wow. Going straight to the box. Question we're asking. What was the goal on January 6th of MAGA? What were they attempting to accomplish? Let's rephrase it. Let's assume, for my beloved MAGA that may be tuning in, let's assume on January 6th it was a complete success. Everything that MAGA was attempting to accomplish went their way. What would that look like? That's what we want to know. Elaborate on what would it look like had MAGA been completely victorious on January 6th. Going straight to the box, MAGA Slayer. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. So I'm asking a question, MAGA Slayer. What was, in your humble opinion, what was the goal of MAGA on that day?
To overturn the election.
But they're saying it was not an insurrection or an attempt to overthrow the government.
Yeah, so they lie daily. What's surprising?
So you believe they were indeed trying to commit an act of insurrection?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, they're supposed to be the party of law and order. I mean, countless people have been found guilty now.
So if you believe they were trying to commit an act of insurrection, why has no one been charged with that?
They have. Elmer Stewart Rhodes, he got 18 years. Enrique Tarrio just got 22 fucking years.
Yeah.
That's right.
You're talking about the leader of the Proud Boys.
85%, he's going to do 18 years of that.
Yeah, you're talking about the leader of the Proud Boys and the leader of the Oath Keepers getting football numbers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But were they officially charged with committing an act of insurrection?
Seditious conspiracy is the same thing, just different words.
Yeah. So did they plan this all by themselves? I mean, are they that literally the head? There's nothing higher. Like for folks who are accusing Trump, does this exonerate him if it was planned by these guys?
Well, we know Roger Stone was rubbing shoulders with them.
Yeah.
And Roger Stone was rubbing shoulders with Trump and Giuliani. And I mean, that's why there's a conspiracy, charges up in Georgia and in fucking D.C.
But you're bringing up rubbing shoulders. Are we suggesting that guilt by association is at play?
Didn't Grandma say birds of a feather?
Yeah, I mean, that is true. But if that's the case, you're going to take down Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton for hanging around Epstein?
Well, if we're going to do that, I mean, I think someone else hung around Epstein.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, if you're going to convict folks based on association.
There's evidence, though. I mean, there's evidence, and they probably don't have enough evidence on Roger Stone because he's not the dumbest Batman criminal. But the rest of them, they're screwed, dude. They're screwed. They're already starting to turn on Trump. Some of those electoral documents people, I think it's 3 already, that are saying they were just doing their job. They're trying to get it moved to federal court. We were just doing our job. We were just doing what the president told us to do.
Yeah, but okay, who in particular has officially turned on Trump, or are we speculating that that's what it's looking like?
No. Some of the people that were charged, 3 of them so far, that were charged with forged documents, the electoral documents, they're trying to get their charges moved to federal court and state that they should not be charged because they were federal employees doing what the president told them to do.
Okay. I don't know if I've quite heard it like that. Unfortunately, for whatever reason there is, this time it's probably someone on the right, but they took out my last caller. I don't know why, and I do appreciate you folks on YouTube watching the simulcast, but the last caller got banned. I don't see what he said, but listen, I stated at the beginning, at the onset of this topic, it would be controversial. I understand a hell of a lot of folks have passionate viewpoints on both sides of the aisle, so we're going to push right through it. I expect that to happen because a lot of folks do believe, whether it's Ashley Babbitt or even the leader of the Oath Keepers and Proud Boys, that they're facing a wrongful prosecution, or in Ashley Babbitt's case, a wrongful execution. But I want to ask you folks, because I'm willing to concede ignorance. I want to know from the folks, what was the actual goal of MAGA on January 6th? I'm asking this because MAGA made it clear they was not trying to overthrow the government. They've stated clearly it was not an insurrection. Nobody had firearms, according to Trump supporters. Nobody was armed. How the hell could you perform an insurrection if nobody has firearms? So they're suggesting that it wasn't an insurrection. The vice president's life was not in danger at all. So what was the goal? What were they trying to accomplish? That's what I want to hear from you folks. And last but not least, would Ashley Babbitt, the Air Force veteran, losing her life, was that a justifiable loss of life? And also, I'd love to find out, what was her goal? When she attempted to go through that window, ignoring the commands of that law enforcement official, what was she trying to accomplish? Had he stood down and not fired upon her, what was she about to do? That's what we're trying to find out. Looking in the comments, they had firearms and caches. And I've heard both sides to this. The suggestion is that the protesters on January 6th were indeed heavily armed. That's what someone is saying. Yeah, you know how women are. Martin, that's a hell of a comment to make. It's funny. But in regards to Ashley Babbitt not following the instructions of law enforcement, well, you know how women are. Wow, that's crazy. Let me keep it moving, though. That's kind of funny. Evil Tickers, good afternoon. Welcome to the program. I'm just curious, what was the goal of MAGA on January 6th? Evil, good afternoon.
Well, what I think the goal is for them to hold up the count, to give Pence time to count the fake electors that they sent there, and to use that as a reason to instill martial law and give Trump back to presidency. So it was an insurrection, and it was an attempt to overthrow our democracy and instill Trump as a leader.
So you do believe they were trying to steal the election, basically?
Well, that's what all the evidence shows.
Yeah. Why do you think there's so many people, particularly those that support Trump, that do not see the evidence showing that?
Well, I think that I know I hear the cult thing a lot, and they're in a cult, I believe, because they won't believe anything bad about him. They won't believe anything bad about themselves. They need to adopt a dissonance-reducing causal narrative. That's the only way they can still stay.
Wait, say that again. That was a mouthful. Repeat that.
In order for this is how they think. They think that being a Trump supporter is a good thing.
Nothing wrong with that.
They might not state that, but I think it's a feeling they have. I think it's pretty obvious.
Okay.
And when they see these people that of the group that they belong to doing something bad, they suffer from cognitive dissonance. It's a bad feeling that they have because it contradicts their belief. So they see this happening, they're trying to overthrow the government, and in order for them to keep believing in that, they need to adopt a reducing causal narrative. So they're going to think of something like, well, it wasn't the MAGA people, it was Antifa, or it was the FBI, or they're going to make it easier for themselves to blame somebody else so they can keep their identity and keep themselves thinking that they're a good part of this group.
Okay, now
that's what I mean.
I certainly am going to admit I don't have a psychology degree, and that's pretty complicated. But I have to ask, listening to what you just stated, what's the difference between your eloquent presentation and a cult? What's the difference between how you just described that and an actual cult?
That's pretty close to a cult.
Where did this come from? What did Trump do, being a well-known celebrity, a very successful businessman, despite folks bringing up the bankruptcies, but he was a successful businessman. How do you go from that to having, in your opinion, a cult-like following of millions of people.
He strikes a chord with them. And that's what a good cult leader does. And he knows he's a cult leader. So he takes advantage of them. He takes advantage of these beliefs. He knows what red meat he...
Okay. We're going to obviously have a difficult program today. Once again, another guest was taken off the program. Clearly, there is some strong support for President Trump. This is MAGA. When folks suggest that the woke, the liberal, the left elitists are constantly banning and censoring folks, this isn't coming from the left. These guests are speaking ill of the president and or the former president, and being removed. So make no mistake about it, what the last guest and the previous guest stated contained nothing that would have triggered a TikTok censor at all. There is someone on the right, folks on the right, that are not fans of what we're discussing today, and they're exercising all sorts of censorship attributes. So that's where it's coming from. I want to make it clear. This is not coming from the libs. This is not coming from cancel culture. Someone on the right, as my last caller was stating, who has a very strong level of love for the former president to the point where they don't like to hear anything negative about him. That's where this is coming from. That's where this is coming from. It's not coming from the TikTok censors or algorithms or any of that. This is someone actively making an effort to prevent anything that is counter to what Trump is suggesting in regards to January 6th from being spoken. I want to point that out. Looking in the comments, say, by the way, Brownsbacker, you're 100% correct. Brownsbacker is MAGA. He's a friend to the program, and he is correct. We don't have moderators. So there is no moderator doing this. Program doesn't have one. We've been doing this for over a year. We don't have moderators. I am that much of a proponent of free speech. I love the First Amendment. Comes before the Second. I love the First Amendment. So there is no moderators preventing people from speaking. This is what you refer to as haters that are trying to prevent people from speaking. And obviously, it is haters that are favorable to what MAGA did on January 6th and don't want to hear anything counter to that. Russell Gray, when cult followers adopt the entity as part of the identity of themselves, they take any factual criticism, speak as offensive. Wow. Cult followers adapt the entity as part of their own identity. Therefore, they don't want to hear anything because they view criticism of Trump as a personal insult to themselves. How do you guys take that? Do you see any of that? Is that possible? Is it that bad? Anyhow, let me go back to the box real quick to once again summarize what we're discussing. What was the goal of MAGA on January 6th? Let's assume that on January 6th, things were, yeah, golden lion. Thank you for the hat and mustache. While pleading ignorance, I'm going to ask, because I'm admitting I'm ignorant on this, let's assume January 6th was a resounding success for MAGA that day. Everything they wanted happened and came true. Whatever reason they were there, whatever Ashley Babbitt was trying to accomplish, let's assume all of it was a success. What would that have looked like? What were they attempting to accomplish? That is the topic of the show. Looking in the comment section, do you not think there were any leftists at January 6th? Were there liberals in the crowd? Perhaps. I mean, that's how somebody asked, was Antifa there? Perhaps. But the problem is that virtually no one that was there that day, particularly in the Capitol building, that has been tried in courts of law, various courts of law, none of them are blaming Antifa. In fact, a hell of a lot of Republican senators and Congress people that were there that day, none of them are blaming Antifa. There's just a sheer lack of people that were present on the ground there that day that are blaming Antifa. And I would also ask this question. Whether you think Black Lives Matter or Antifa or Ray Epps were there that day, how could such a small entity of people get MAGA, who has a totally opposing viewpoint, to just do all of this stuff? I mean, I'm going to assume nobody would suggest that more than 10% of the crowd was Antifa. Obviously, you're not going to suggest that 40% of the participants were Black Lives Matter. Ray Epps is one guy. How could this whole crowd be taken over and literally aimed to do all of that? I'm trying my best. I will not call this group sheep. But if any of this is the case, how does that not fall under the category of being a sheep? Ray Epps is one guy. If he can make that whole crowd go against abiding by the law and do all of this stuff, how would he not be a sheep herder? Somebody explain that to me. Going back to the box, because I am lost. I'm willing to admit I have no clue how this is working. Peter, good afternoon. Welcome to the program. What was the goal of MAGA on January 6th? Good afternoon, Peter.
Hi.
Good to have you on. So, what do you think was? What do you think they were trying to accomplish there that day?
Well, first of all, you had Trump. He said he was gonna have a type of a rally right in front near the Capitol.
Right.
And he was just expressing his his viewpoints.
Okay.
And the crowd was very calm. Everyone was just cheering. Everything fine.
Wait a minute.
And
Wait a minute.
they were gonna-
Hold on. When you suggest that the crowd was calm and everybody was cheering just fine, what about the call to take the life of the vice president? That was happening in that crowd. Do you chalk that up as being calm?
No, what was said by a certain group of the crowd was on the way there. They were saying, "Let's get Pence. Let's get Pence."
No. They had
They were gonna kill him.
Did they not have a gallows with them there that day?
That's like when you were protesting a new law about abortion and stuff. They have signs and things. It's not like they're gonna do it. They're gonna kill the guy. They had no weapons. Number one. The only person that got killed that day was Ashley Babbitt.
Hold on, hang on a second. Hold on. Peter, could you do me a favor? Hold on, hang on. Nobody can hear you but me. Could you put yourself on mute and then unmute yourself? Apparently the guests are saying they cannot hear you.
Now they can hear me?
Can you folks hear him now? Hello? Let me know.
Yeah?
They're saying they can't hear you. Okay, they can hear you now. All right, continue.
Okay. All right. So what I'm trying to say, because I watched the whole thing live, from the beginning till the end, and I was a little bit shocked when I saw people breaking things at one point. But at the beginning, there was no charge. There was no nothing. This was happening in one corner of the Capitol. The rest of the front of the Capitol, everyone was there enjoying their day. They were not violent. They weren't pushing, nothing. It was only one section of the Capitol on the far right, I think it was. And that's where you had, when people mention Epps, because that's where he was, and he's rallying that corner. Let's get in.
But he is one man.
Live on TV. I wasn't watching Fox, by the way.
That's fine. I'm not. Listen, Peter. I'm not Peter. I'm not dispelling.
TV, not Fox.
I'm not dispelling anything you're saying. I'm just simply asking you, how could one man convince this crowd to do this?
It wasn't only Epps, by the way. Epps had the sound of Epps rallying. There was people close to him that had whatever they were recording, but there were a good bunch of people that were telling people, "Let's go this way, let's go this way, this way." And these people did not look like the normal crowd of MAGA. I mean,
what did they look like?
They didn't. They looked like they were dressed up for the occasion, if you know what I mean, to blend in as MAGA. Okay, because MAGA, they're not violent people. They don't riot. That was the first time we ever seen any riot by MAGAs anywhere in the States. If you look, there hasn't been any damage to property, burning houses, none of that.
So, okay, so in regards to MAGA not being violent, there's video of police officers being bear sprayed. Was that not MAGA?
Yes. No, but this is the that side of the Capitol where all the violence was happening. This was, yes, it was. Listen, I'm not a Trump fan myself. I'm just telling you how it looked to me. Okay.
Were the people who using the bear spray, were they MAGA?
Yeah, but bear spray. Listen, you have kids, right?
Yeah.
I have kids, and I tell them,
do you bear spray your children?
If they're in a situation, the bear spray is there for a reason. You don't need the gun, but the bear spray will give you time to get away from a danger, right? So,
wait. You're bear spraying a cop in uniform. You're saying that's not a violent act?
Wait a second. Those security people there on that side, okay, were charging the people with the gate. I don't know if you remember seeing that. They were coming at them with the gate. So they had to defend themselves there. They were getting hurt by the police officers.
So they just conveniently brought bear spray and was prepared to defend themselves. They just happened to have bear. I mean, do you normally carry bear spray on you?
90% of women carry
bear spray.
Mace. They carry mace in their purses, right?
I mean, I've seen some chicks. In fact, here's some. This is mace.
There was no gun.
Here, wait a minute. This is what mace looks like. You're looking at it. They had a big ass canister of bear spray. Are you telling me women carry that around?
If you can spray it with one hand, it's not that huge, buddy.
Okay. So, but you are suggesting that most women tend to carry bear spray on them.
Not bear spray. They carry a form of bear spray, which is mace, which is what's it called? Pepper spray. It's all the same ingredients. You wanna blind the person temporarily so that you can escape. Or escape a bear, escape any danger. So, anyways, let's forget about that situation. Let me go back to what you were saying, where there was only EPs. There wasn't only EPs, And as far as the peacefulness was, there was lots of peace at the beginning. And I
don't get how you're suggesting that they want to take the life of the vice president. I don't get where that's peaceful.
Listen, they were not going to take it.
How do you know?
Because, number one, where was the guns?
That did not answer the question. These guys have a gallows and they're talking about taking the life of the.
Matter. It's a protest. When people are not happy with Biden, don't they have him and they burn him on a stake? I mean, come on. Same thing. They put Trump on gallows all through his presidency. Everybody, all the people which are pro women's abortion rights. Those people that are extreme. All the extremists do that. I mean, on both sides.
So let me get it clear. I just want to make sure I'm understanding you clearly. So showing up to a location where the vice president is actually present with a gallows and yelling out you want to take his life, completely covered by the First Amendment.
Listen, it's not a. It's
just asking a question. Just asking a question.
Him directly. He has his Secret Service.
That's not answering the question. That's not answering the question, though.
They know that.
So once again, to get clarity, showing up with a gallows and suggesting you want to take the life of the vice president.
It's a protest. Of course, it's a protest.
So it's covered by. So you're saying that is that
was not threatened directly. I mean, it's impossible. How many times did you see puppets of Trump and people were stomping on it in public? That's the same thing. It's just protest. That's all it is.
Last but not least, I do got to move it on before I let you go. Ashley Babbitt, was that a justifiable shooting?
Absolutely not. Did you see the video?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, the guy stuck his hand through the window and shot her.
I didn't see that.
And she was, yes, it was a security guard that shot. From inside the door, shot straight at her, and she was unarmed. 100%.
Okay.
The video is there. The proof is there. There's evidence 100% that you cannot question that.
So
He stuck his hand. You see his hand with the gun. He's just shooting blindly.
So let me ask you this: was Ashley Babbitt attempting to climb through the window, or did he stick a gun through the window?
Is she armed?
That ain't what I. Was she trying to climb through the window though?
No, there was like 10 people there. She wasn't alone.
That ain't what I'm asking you. Was she trying to climb through the window?
No, but she was already inside the Capitol. It was.
That ain't what there is a smashed window in front of her, a hole in the window that's been smashed. Was she trying to climb through that?
What? And the guy felt threatened by a woman half his size?
Peter, you can easily say yes or no. Was she, if she wasn't just saying no, was she trying to climb through the hole?
They were all trying to climb.
Peter, we're talking about Ashley Babbitt, the woman who lost her life, not other people.
It does not justify her shooting.
I get that.
100%.
I get your opinion is not justified, but I'm trying to find out, was she trying to climb through the window?
Sure she was.
Okay, so what do you think she was attempting to do when she got through the window?
And
if he didn't
there was
fire...
people inside. There was already people inside.
So she was just trying to... So what?
Video of them walking and they're getting guided by the police of the Capitol.
Okay.
There's video. You can see it. It's all there. It's free for you to see on YouTube. It's not doctored. It's not. It's real time filmed. Nothing.
So what do you think she was attempting to do at that point when she climbed through the window?
It doesn't. Listen. Even if she's trying to get in, it was not justified to shoot point blank a woman that doesn't even have.
So what should he have done? What should he have done?
What do you mean? He can go to another part of the Capitol and call for reinforcement. That's it.
So as
Pelosi, you know that she held.
Hang on, wait, Peter, wait a minute. I'm willing to let you talk, but you're deflecting all over. We're on Pelosi now. We're talking about Ashley Babbitt. We're talking about Ashley Babbitt. If Ashley Babbitt had have done, let's say the security guard or I'm under the impression he's a law enforcement officer, but you're calling him a security guard. But let's say, okay, whatever you want to call him. Let's say
he wasn't wearing police uniform. He was wearing a suit.
Meaning what?
He's a security, like one of the ushers of the Capitol. That's what he was. He wasn't a policeman.
Okay. Let's say he did what you said, where she's climbing through the window. He doesn't fire a shot. You're basically telling him to stand down and retreat. Is that what I'm hearing?
Retreat because he was by himself. Why not retreat? Wouldn't you, if you're in, let's say you're in the front line and you see 10 tanks coming at you and you're by yourself, you're not going to retreat?
Okay.
Of course you are. That's the rule of what's it called? How do you call it?
Of a coward. It sounds like the rule of a coward to me. What?
No, it's not.
Okay.
One guy, his responsibility is not by himself to defend a crowd of people.
Last question. What does the phrase "stand your ground" mean to you?
Stand your ground.
Yeah, what does that mean to you?
Stand your ground is don't move.
That's it. It just means stand there and don't move.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to that phrase to you. It just means stand there and...
your ground, meaning protect your perimeter.
Okay. Now, as a law enforcement officer, do you think that him firing upon Ashley Babbitt was a case of him standing his ground?
Oh, but listen, he shot irresponsibly. He shot her and killed her. He could have shot her in the arm, in the leg. No, he shot the woman straight in the chest.
Shoot her in the arm or leg. You sound like a liberal. Do you lean left?
Oh, no, I don't lean anything. I'm just being, listen, I'm being open-minded to both sides, okay?
All right.
Seriously.
Okay.
And listen, one last thing before I let you
Real
go.
quick. I got to move it on.
One last thing.
Sure.
Listen, the term insurrection is being abused Because what happened January 6th wasn't an insurrection, it was a riot. That's all it was. It wasn't insurrection. Because, I'll tell you why, there's a reason. Because the meaning of insurrection is to try to overthrow an established government. January 6th, Donald Trump was still president of the United States. His government was still in power. And Biden was only inaugurated 14 days later. True or no?
All right.
Fact or no?
I gotta move it on. I can't. We've had the debate. I just wanted to get your last part in.
Applied in this situation.
Okay. All right. Hey, you're welcome back anytime. We may not agree, but understand you can always come back. All right, moving. Okay. My last guest had a lot to say. Listen, folks, what do I say on every broadcast? I don't block, ban, or censor anyone. Me and the last guest had a good sparring match. He clearly disagrees with me, and the feeling is mutual, but I enjoy talking to him. Looking in the comments, everybody's saying get him off. By the way, I don't believe in removing guests simply because they're saying something that may be controversial, unpopular, or in some cases even untrue. Folks believe what my guests tend to say. You're not going to change hearts and minds by silencing people. That's why we don't do it here. Understand that. Look at it in the comments. And this folks saying when he is lying. And and let me make something else clear. And I think it's kind of funny, and I will go back to the box, but you notice my first two callers got banned, and that last caller was allowed to speak in its entirety. So that shows you where the banning was coming from, right? My first two callers get kicked off, and they let my last guy speak in his entirety. So understand that certainly had my first two callers getting banned had nothing to do with TikTok. That is somebody out there playing the role of a agitator, troll, whatever you want to call it. Because the last guest survived and they didn't. Let me go back into the comment section. He has been on everybody's live today, Mr. Canada. I don't know what you mean by that. If the others wanted to get through the window, they wouldn't have stopped after the bad shoot. Arian Christian. What one hell of a name, okay. But I totally disagree with you, Arian Christian, in regards to suggesting that if the others wanted to get through the window, they wouldn't have stopped after the bad shoot. You believe that Ashley Babbitt was a bad shoot, and if the folks really wanted to get through the window, they would have continued on. The hell you would. You see this guy, okay, he only has a limited amount of rounds in his defensive tool, but he's clearly used one, and one of you have dropped. You could overrun the guy by all going in at the same time, but some of you are going to get hit. You're not going to run into some shit like that. What do you mean they could have? First of all, you got to come through a hole. So it's not like you're charging the guy down a wide open hallway. You got to climb through a hole, making it pretty easy for him to pop off the first whatever number of rounds in his firearm. No, you're not going to just run up on that shit. I got to disagree with you on that. We'll go to the box. Appreciate you folks holding on. Tap the screen, get your boy up to 20,000 likes, 800 plus of you in here. What do I say all the time? You could be anywhere you want to be on social media. It's always a pleasure having you here. Enjoy civilized dialogue, both sides of the aisle, without any worry of the host, at least, blocking, banning, or censoring you. You are in the right place. Follow the program. Doesn't cost you a damn thing. Helps out the algorithm. Brings in more MAGA. The program always will remain MAGA friendly. Andy, good afternoon. Welcome to the program. What was MAGA attempting to accomplish on January 6th? What say you, Andy?
Exactly what Steve Bannon said he was going to do before the election.
Which is?
Steve Bannon said on tape that before the election ever happened, if Trump started to lose, that he was going to come out and say it was stolen.
He did.
And then the night before January 6th, Steve Bannon on his podcast said we're going to have a 1776 moment. And then there's the fake electorates, which is a whole separate scheme. So you can't say it wasn't an insurrection when the man had a three-prong plan to take over the government and tried to use the military. That's what one of the indictments is. So they can say whatever they want to, but Trump was planning to be a dictator. And Roger Stone, in his little video clip, said after 2020 there won't be any more elections, and the guy says we're hunting them.
So you're essentially suggesting that Trump himself led the insurrection.
Well, Trump is the messenger. I'm pretty sure he's not that smart to put all that together. I'm pretty sure that's a Roger Stone, Steve Bannon, Michael Flynn special.
But if you believe that Stone and Flynn and Steve Bannon were so do you believe Trump had any knowledge that it was taking place?
Oh yeah, I do. But I think they were all up in his ear telling him, "Oh, you can do this, you can do this," and you know how Trump is. So he goes, "Okay, I can do this." And then, to make matters worse, they keep talking about Nancy Pelosi. Trump sat himself in that White House and watched it go down for 3 hours. His daughter said in her testimony that they said that when they found out Pence wasn't going to do it, Trump texted them and said that, and she equated it as throwing gasoline on a fire.
So I'm getting, let me ask you, because this is coming off of YouTube, but 76 Red Pills, love the name, said they have already redistricted, I suppose, saying that the fix is in. He's suggesting that the election is already being set up to be stolen, quote unquote, again. How do you respond to folks?
What he's talking about with the redistricting is where they gerrymandered us all before the last election so the Republicans can steal it. They're just putting it back the way it was. So if he wants it in there so they can steal it again, I'm sure. But the Supreme Court said no, it was unconstitutional.
Yeah, I mean, we know the courts have certainly ruled against Trump and the Trump administration, but folks like John Anderson, Trump won. We all know it by now. If 60 plus courts,
His daughter doesn't think so. Bill Barr doesn't think so. The people that investigated it didn't think so. Mitch McConnell said it wasn't so. Lindsey Graham said it wasn't so. I mean,
so why do so?
Trump, but
now you're totally correct.
Whole career on the line.
Yeah, you're
tell the truth.
You're totally correct in pointing out those folks who do not believe Trump won. But why do MAGA overwhelmingly believe Trump won the election?
Everything Trump says, and it doesn't matter what he says. And I know the election rally was crap because my representative, Mo Brooks, stood his butt up there and told them all kind of stuff. And you know why Mo's not listed? Because Trump was endorsing him. Trump didn't like his numbers in Alabama. So he pulled his endorsement. So Mo Brooks' spiteful self went down to the January 6th hearing and handed them the pardon list.
So at the end of the day, I want to ask you, because we had a call.
Wait, and how do you want a pardon? What do you get a pardon for? Only one thing: if you committed a crime.
Well, what if you committed a crime? What if you didn't commit a crime, but you were wrongfully convicted anyway?
Well, I watched that Ashley Babbitt live to an Oath Keepers helmet on YouTube, and I could hear what they were saying. And they weren't there for anything other than what they were there for. And they were mad at the ones that were just like goofing around and taking pictures because they were part of the ones that were running the stack operations up the side of the building.
So what you're saying, wait. So what you, hang on a second, hold on. So what you're saying is that some Trump supporters who, in your opinion, were performing an insurrection were mad at other Trump supporters who were just there acting like tourists because they weren't participating?
Yeah, the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys actually thought they were going to have some backup. And instead, they got the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys were there. The Oath Keepers especially were there for Roger Stone.
Okay.
They take orders directly from him. And they, these people said, yeah, we're ready. They trained for 3 months. They got a Lego of the Capitol building that was exact and put it together, and they found it in the church where they'd been plotting. The day before, they got video where nobody was supposed to be in the Capitol of one of the senators letting one of them in, the Republican senators, and giving them a tour. And it's also one of the guys that got arrested on January the 6th.
But you started out by saying it's an insurrection. So how do you respond to folks who say it couldn't have been an insurrection because there was no weapons there?
I say that the guy that got arrested from Alabama had a trunk full of cocktails, and they were the kind you throw.
Oh, but you're going to perform an insurrection with a bunch of Molotov cocktails?
If you listen to their police reports, they were talking about guys in the trees with weapons.
Yeah, they were.
Assault ones.
So
they can say what they want. That's not the truth.
What about their claim of taking the VP life? Do you think that was just something they were saying, protected by the First Amendment?
There were gallows on the lawn, and when Trump found out, he called. No, whoa, what was it? Which one of them called him? And said. The Speaker of the House called him and said, "Hey, this is getting real."
Right.
And he said, "Well, I guess some people care more than others." And they had to force Trump to go down there and make a speech.
Yeah, but you have folks that counter you, like for instance in the comments, Skylar is saying January 6th is a complete setup. Where are they getting this from?
Well, if they're that weak-minded that they'll follow one person or two people to go commit insurrection against the United States government, I don't know what to tell them.
Well,
you couldn't convince me to do that, not ever.
You make a good point because they, folks are blaming Ray Epps and things like that for inciting this, and I do have to ask that question. How could you be so easily influenced to do something so serious if you are a law-abiding citizen, some guy you've never met?
I come from a military family. We don't do that.
Yeah, fair enough. So at the end of the day, 22 years for the leader of the Proud Boys, 18 for the leader of the Oath Keepers. You think that was overdoing it, or you think those are legitimate football numbers that they've been given?
What did we used to do to traitors to the United States? I think they got out late.
Damn. Okay. All right, Andy.
And I think we should pull Michael Flynn back in and court-martial him while we're at it. But I bet you money Roger Stone's walking around with a pardon in his pocket.
Yeah. Well,
he's been trying to overthrow the government since Nixon. Think about it.
Well, it wasn't quite met with success. Last question I want to ask you, though.
He was even involved when Reagan went to Iran and made that deal to mess up Carter. So Roger Stone is evil. They call him the father of dirty politics for a reason.
Fair enough. All right, Andy, I got to move it on. I do appreciate you coming on. It's always a pleasure speaking with you. You know what we got to do. Come on back in here, there.
I got to go, but hey, I made it all the way through without getting bumped. Bye.
Fair enough. All right, look at in the comments. Lord have mercy. January 6th was like a horror movie. Insurrection and televised. Patrick says on YouTube, yikes. There was a run through of what not to do in the next one, and it's coming. That's scary. John Anderson, YouTube says that what happened on January 6th was literally an example. He referred to it as a run through of what not to do at the next protest, love fest, gathering, insurrection. And he ended the statement by saying, and it is coming. So you saw on video an example of what not to do at the next gathering, and he anticipates it is coming. So that's what I want to make that clear to you. And he's not the only one that's said things like that. Going back to the box, and when all the lawyers walked out, it's because he wanted to use the military. Wow. I'm hearing that it was not an insurrection. How many of you folks, by way of yes or no, I'm not going to quite go into the polls, but by way of yes or no, just want to get your humble opinion. 800 plus of you in here. By the way, tap the screen. Get your boy up to 35,000 likes. I appreciate you being here. By way of yes or no, was January 6th, in your opinion, an attempt to overthrow the government? Was it an insurrection? Yes or no? Now, obviously, we know President Trump has not been charged with such a crime. We know that the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys, apparently, at least the leadership, looks like they have been charged with sedition rather. So, but I want to see what you folks say in the comments before we go to the box. Wow, a lot of you. Wow, it's an incredible amount of you responding. I should have did a poll. There's a lot of both. I'm going to just simply scrolling through. There looks like there may be more yeses than nos, but it looks like there's a hell of a lot of you that are indeed saying no. So I'm actually going to do the poll because I really want to see. So give me a second and we'll go back to the box. I won't keep you guys waiting much longer, but I am really curious if I can even get this shit to work because I really want to find out. So we'll just put in yes. You know something, I'm so ignorant on this that I can't type it out, and I hate doing this because it's dead air in the program. So I'm just going to type in insurrection, yes or no, and when you see it, I would appreciate if you would respond. Yeah, something is okay. There we go. All right, real quick. Yes and no. All right, there we go. 5-minute poll. All right, going back to, and I see a lot of yeses and I see a lot of no's, so it went crazy there. Sorry about the delay. I see a lot of Trump 2024, so there is a lot of love for Trump. In fact, I could almost ask an additional poll, which is, even if Trump is charged and convicted of an insurrection, would you still support him? I know there's a hell of a lot of yeses to that, too, as well. Keeping the program moving, we will go to Fur the Great. I appreciate you holding. Oh, God. Okay, anyway, unfortunately, YouTube audience, TikTok took down the program. This is why I'm trying to move the live stream somewhere else, because TikTok is always taking down the stream. So it's telling me I can appeal, and it'll probably take me down for a day or two, or maybe even as much as a week. Trying to run a live program that is centered around free speech on TikTok is damn near next to impossible. Look at in the comments of why they took down the live stream. Misinformation is the violation reason. In a global community, it is natural for people to have different opinions, but we seek to operate on a shared set of facts and reality. We do not allow inaccurate, misleading, or false content that may cause significant harm to individuals or society, regardless of intent. Giving you the verbiage of this. Significant harm includes physical, psychological, and societal harm and property damage. Visit our community guidelines for more information. So that's what they send. I will appeal it. We'll see what happens. Looking in the comments on YouTube, obviously, TikTok is a silencing app. Yeah, you know, and yes, they did take it down there, Browns, Beth Allen Robertson. They did take it down. At the worst case scenario, it'll be down for a week. It happens occasionally, certainly when we're talking about controversial topics like January 6th. COVID's another one. LGBT rights, particularly for the trans community, is another hot button topic that you get a lot of censorship around. But I believe in supporting the First Amendment. I believe in free speech. So I do take them on. I mean, it's not like I'm making a bunch of money. So if they take it down, I'm not losing a lot. So it is what it is. We do have, and I wanted, yeah, I see that. You guys asking about the poll. All I asked, I typed in the word insurrection. That's it. Didn't even have any type of question mark or exclamation point after it. Just typed in the word insurrection. And below it, I asked yes or no. That was it. 3 words. Insurrection, yes or no. That was literally it. And yeah, it took down the program. I don't know if it was due to the poll I don't know if it was due to the language we were talking in the live stream, or perhaps you've seen with the first two callers, it could have been a host of Trump supporters not liking the live stream, which featured several callers that were critical of the former president. So it could have been it could have been a variety of any of them. Obviously, I need a new platform. I would prefer to be somewhere where you were allowed to speak with a little bit more, a little bit more impunity. I understand that certain things you say can be harmful. I'm not on here to try to do that, but I do believe that people should be able to speak up to a point, certainly further than TikTok allows. I've had folks recommend other platforms, but I don't know what platform gives folks the manner of being able to interact. Because I run my platform, unlike a podcast, I run my platform more similar to a talk show, radio talk show. So I definitely feast off of the folks interacting and calling in. Podcasts do not operate that way. It's more or less the host just talking to the folks, kind of like what I'm doing now. I believe I could deliver fairly decent content in podcast form, but I do enjoy talking to MAGA. I really enjoy it. So I would prefer to be able to run a program similar to a talk show, like you hear on AM radio, that type of program or that type of format. Looking in the comments, Dean Carlich. Brother, you are awesome. Thank you. Black people, don't be afraid to think for yourself. If you get your shit from fellow blacks, just hit them with the statistics and facts. Appreciate the accolade, Dean. Thank you. We need to leave that China-owned app. John, I would leave TikTok in a heartbeat if there was a suitable platform with as many users and participants and was ran in that ability to call in or talk live format. I would bounce in a minute. I don't know. I mean, TikTok is the 6th largest social media platform in the world, I believe it is. 6th largest. So there's literally millions upon millions of people there. What else could you switch to that has that same audience, that has an audience that large? Now, in regards to YouTube, where we're at now, YouTube doesn't allow me to actually speak to you live. I can interact with you like crazy through the comment section, and I can run a program like that. My numbers on YouTube, though, because I just recently started doing lives on YouTube a few weeks ago, the numbers are nowhere near like there are on TikTok. When you're listening to the program on YouTube, you're hearing me cite the numbers off on TikTok. I routinely have as many as 1,000 listeners simultaneously on TikTok. There's 21 of you in here now on YouTube. So it's a big difference, big difference. Now, if the audience on YouTube would grow anywhere near to that size like it is on TikTok, I could interact through the comments. I don't know, which is why I do the simulcast, because more folks are tuning in on YouTube. Probably when I'm sitting there telling folks to tap the damn screen and letting them know I support the First Amendment, I should be also letting them know the program is simultaneously on YouTube. So I may ultimately add that into the normal jargon of the program. The live format, I'm not sure of as far as calling in Brownsmacker. That's what I'm talking about. I would prefer the live format. Obviously, also, too, the video clarity here is nowhere near what it is on TikTok. But that's because I'm using a tablet on YouTube and an actual smartphone on TikTok. I could switch the smartphone to YouTube and the video clarity would be just as good. The smartphone has a significantly better camera than the tablet does. So that could easily be changed, but I got to get the numbers and things on YouTube to make that worth doing. Now, maybe tomorrow, if the TikTok appeal doesn't go through, I'll do the live on YouTube with the smartphone. So the clarity will be much better. But it is a far smaller audience. Just understand if you're on YouTube, because I don't see the comments as much on YouTube because there's so much shit going on TikTok. But if I do it only on YouTube, then yeah, I can respond to your comments in kind a hell of a lot better. You have your backup account. Browse Backer, yes, I do. Yeah, I do have the backup account, Handsome Liberal and Handsome Liberal without the final L. So I do have 2 TikTok accounts, which I may be simulcast on there. I forgot about that. Yeah, I may be on the backup account as well. But I'm going to start promoting the YouTube stream as well, so that folks know that there is a better place to go. YouTube does block and ban a little bit as well, but nowhere near to the level of TikTok. I don't know if folks can write in or whatever the hell they do to get you banned on YouTube the way they can on TikTok. They can actually make it happen on TikTok apparently pretty damn quick, because I got folks getting thrown off in real time. And my first 2 callers did not say anything that was really that controversial for them to get taken off the program. And then I had the 3rd caller on there who sounded almost like he was straight out of the QAnon group. And he was allowed to complete what was probably easily a 5 to 7 minute conversation. So clearly the powers that be, or whoever was doing the banning, they supported Trump. They supported the protest on January 6th. And they were obviously trying to attempt to silence those who went against it, because the first 2 callers were not in favor of it. And that person I spoke to for 6-7 minutes, suggested that Ashley Babbitt was a wrongful execution and all. That person was able to speak, and they said everything they were saying goes against the government in regards to how the court rulings on Trump have been, and everything goes against all of that. They would normally be what you would think would be what folks would suggest is misinformation. Yet I was able to talk to them freely for at least 7 minutes or more. But the first 2 callers, they got banned. Yeah, so it was obviously somebody in support of what happened on January 6th doing that. That was not TikTok. Anyhow, looking in the comments, Russell says it was funny to see the swamp rats scatter when the swamp rabbit got deleted. Link your YouTube in your TikTok profiles. Aunt Brown, that is an excellent idea. I will do that some kind of way. I'm going to plead ignorance on yet another issue. I don't know a lot about social media, which is why I'm not further advanced on this. I do believe the program is entertaining of sorts. It is we have compelling topics, and I do believe the program is fairly decent content. I got a lot of folks that routinely show up. However, I'm going to admit ignorance in terms of marketing, strategizing it, get it to more people. I'm not really good on that shit. So that's where I need to probably do my homework, figure out a little bit more, because I think the program I think it's decent content. I just got to figure out now, linking the YouTube profile on TikTok. That makes sense, so I will do that. FAFO, fuck around and find out, is a mantra. We all live by it. Some know it, some don't. Some find out the hard way. I don't believe everybody lives by fuck around and find out. I really don't. I believe there are people who could actually have access to a firearm, hear someone break it in their house, and try to run out the back door or hide in the closet. In fact, it has happened. It has happened. There's women, you hear 911, somebody's in my house, I'm hiding in the closet, I got a gun. And the person doesn't get shot until they open the closet door. Fuck around and find out. If you got a gun, you're going to go around that house looking to kill that guy. You're looking to take someone's life. So I don't think that everybody is a fuck around and find out. I've said it before, fuck around and find out for the most part, in my humble opinion. Maybe you think I'm wrong, but fuck around and find out is a mostly right-wing white slogan. But blacks have a slogan that is similar. For blacks, the slogan is, I wish a motherfucker would. They are the same thing. Fuck around and find out and I wish a motherfucker would are basically the exact same thing. You just hear more whites using FAFO and I wish a motherfucker would is a black slogan. But what they both are saying is that I want someone to try and do me wrong so I can bestow violence upon them. I'm not a violent guy, but I am waiting for somebody to do something wrong to me so I can deliver violence. That is what fuck around and find out and I wish a motherfucker would mean, that is the interpretation, at least from my standpoint, is that you want somebody to cross the line so that you can take action. Let me know. What do you think? Think I'm wrong? Think I got it wrong? Looking in the comments. I was just suggesting because I'm a huge supporter. Aunt Brown, I do appreciate that. Thank you for that support. That's how the program runs with you folks supporting it. So I do support that. Just looking through some of your comments, but some good news or bad news to come. There's going to be flying cars dropping out of the sky by the end of 2025. Get ready, it's coming. John, what the hell? What are you suggesting? We're going to be living in the age of the Jetsons with improper machinery? Flying cars dropping out of the sky. Wow. I'm from Los Angeles, and I've never seen a black guy with a MAGA hat except on TV. I respect the hell out of you, my man. Fight the good fight. Well, Dean, let me make it clear. I lean left. The whole purpose of the hat is that I believe MAGA, conservatives, Republicans, but definitely MAGA, I believe they oftentimes are blocked, banned, and censored the moment they open their mouths. And I display the hat to let folks know that anytime you're on my program, it is MAGA friendly. You won't be blocked, banned, or censored, even though I lean left. But the purpose of the hat is to let you know this is a MAGA friendly program. We're not going to block you or censor you or ban you in any way because you have a difference of opinion. MAGA is well versed on being blocked, banned, and censored because of their opinion. I don't believe that is right. I support the First Amendment. So that's what the hat is for. But I do politically lean left. So I just want to state that. Big Dog, you have to explain that hat every live. At least you know you're reaching new people every day. I refer to that comment as a home run. Big Dog, you are correct. Folks, listen, I am reaching new people, but unfortunately, some folks at the mere sight of a MAGA hat, drop the program, block me, take me off of their FYP page, things like that. Just the sight of a black man in a MAGA hat is a turnoff to a lot of minorities and black people. I get criticized in my inbox and things like that, DMs, direct message, whatever you want to call it. But Sambo, what is the other one? Freaking Uncle Tom, Uncle Ruckus, you're a sellout. A lot of that. Obviously, the people doing that has not listened to the program at all. They saw a black man in a MAGA hat and they went ballistic. Because if you listen to the program, I don't hide the fact that I lean left. The program is titled The Handsome Liberal. So there's no denying, you can say I'm not handsome, that's fine, but there's no denying that the title says that this person is not a right-winger. But they don't read the title, they don't listen to the program. They look at the picture and they get off on that. Very similar to myself in the days of Playboy and Penthouse. All I needed was the picture and I got off on that. So anyhow, folks, I do appreciate you riding with your boy. It is a lunch break live, a disappointing ending to a show that was taken down on TikTok, but as Brownsbacker pointed out, I do have a backup profile. For any of you who do use TikTok as well, and I do realize some of my YouTubers here are from TikTok, but the Handsome Liberal, whether we're on YouTube under that name or TikTok under that name, well, the backup profile is the Handsome Liberal without the final L. So it's like Libera or something, the Handsome Libera. That is a backup profile. And if the main profile via the appeal is not successfully reestablished tomorrow, I'll be on the backup profile. I do invite you to follow both profiles. Helps out your boy, helps out the algorithms, and we will try to continue delivering fairly decent content. It's your boy Tim. Catch you later.